So the other day, my kid was watching Dragon Riders, and he comes up to me while I'm getting ready for work, and he says to me, he's like, Mom, the dragons were really hungry, and someone gave them food, but they didn't eat the food. And he was like so confused as to why, if they were hungry, they didn't eat the food. And immediately, I just like had this burden and this compassion, this just came upon me that started thinking of all the people in the world who know Jesus Christ and know that the word says that he is the bread of life and he will never hunger again if they come to him as their food. And I just was like, oh my gosh, there's people out there who do that same thing. They literally know that Jesus is the bread of life, but they don't come and they don't partake of him. We as natural human beings, we're born with like this desire to be satisfied, this hunger inside of us. And I think what happens is so many times we have this hunger and we're not sure where to place it. So we look for that satisfaction in people. We look for the satisfaction in money or a job or a car or a relationship or in a status or in a title, whatever it may be for your life. We look for these things to satisfy us because we have this hunger, but we realize those things sometimes cause temporary satisfaction, but they never really truly satisfy that hunger that's happening deep down inside each and every one of us. And I was reminded of this chapter in John, it's John 6. In this whole entire chapter from 22 to 40 talks about Jesus being the bread of life. But one thing it says right here is it says, and Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. We have to realize that God is everything that we have need of. And there's no denying the fact that Jesus is our bread of life. Also, when the children of Israel were in the wilderness for 40 years, it was the manna that came down that satisfied their hunger all those years, those 40 years in the wilderness. And again, it was that bread that came down that gave them and satisfied their hunger. Or you think about when Jesus broke the bread, and you think about when Jesus performed the miracle of the fish and the loaves. There's a significance about bread all throughout the Bible, but we have to constantly be reminded that we are going to have these natural hunger cravings, if you will, and the only thing that's going to satisfy those cravings is Jesus Christ. And we have a world that we constantly always hear people saying, the world is just, it's crazy. It's going crazy right now. The world has always been crazy. When you think back to the story of Noah, why God flooded the earth, it's because the world was going crazy. But it seems like over all these years, if we could learn one thing, it's that Jesus is the source of everything that we have need of. So we can try to find our identity in whatever it may be. We can try to find our satisfaction in whatever that may be for you. And we can look here and try to say, like, I want to be accepted for this, or we need to be accepting of that. But the reality of it is, it's a lot of lost people who are searching to have their hunger satisfied. And if we can come to that place that says, God, I know that you are my satisfaction, Lord. You are my bread of life, and you are the living water. So I will never have to hunger or thirst again. I think what happens as human beings is we put so much emphasis on not important things in our lives, right? And we have to realize that the only important thing that we should be striving after is that relationship with God and becoming everything that he has called us to be. And that's not going to be chasing our dreams and chasing an identity or chasing a status. It's going to be just really humbling ourselves before him and saying, God, I know that I have needs, but Lord, I'm also going to believe that you are the only thing that will satisfy those needs.